Well, hello and welcome to the Magical Witchy World TV. I am Star Ravenhawk.
And I am Rhonda Allen. Welcome back this week, everyone. And this week we have a special guest.
Yes.
Here we are.
Yeah. Well, hello and welcome. And again, Debbie Chapnick.
Hello.
So glad to have you join us here tonight. You've been here with us before.
It's
Welcome.
Now
it's
it's
fun to,
all
it's
about
fun
you
to be
tonight.
back. It's all about me.
Okay, so go ahead, Miss Rhonda.
Yes, it is all about you tonight, Debbie. So, yes,
Yeah.
welcome back. Happy to have you here. As we like to do, we like to go through our bio introduction for everyone. So, let me go through your bio first. Debbie Chapnick is a publisher, writer, teacher, and tarot and New Jersey. She began studying the fairy tradition with R.J. Stewart in 1990 and later with Orion Foxwood. She also studied Hermetics and Kabbalah with Dolores Ashcroft Nowicki since 1999. She is a second degree initiate of the Servants of the Light School of Occult Science and is currently working with Dolores Ashcroft Nowicki on the Anthologies of Occult Wisdom, a series of books that bring to light historical and previously unpublished occult works by Ms. Nowicki, W.E. Butler, and Gareth.
You good?
Night, to name a
Okay.
few. Debbie
Oh,
Chapnick. Oh, can you now? I hope I didn't go
Mhm.
out completely.
A little.
Shoot.
yeah.
Okay. Well, you will be teaching at Sacred Space Conference at the end of March, weekend. So, welcome. Thank you for
All
joining
right.
us, and let's get on with the
Thank
show.
you.
Yes, yes, yes. So glad to have this conversation with you. All right, Debbie. The first question is I know many titles are given to people by other people throughout their years, but what we want to know is the title you have given yourself. Like, what do you call yourself? A druid, a witch, whatever, or maybe you started off as one thing and ended up as where you are right now, calling yourself whatever. So let's begin. If you'd love to
Okay.
give an answer.
I actually try not to call myself anything unless pressed. And I found that it was very interesting to me because people would keep saying like, what are you? You're not Wiccan. What are you? And so I used
Mm.
to say I was a Jewish ritual magician, but that's really long.
Yeah.
Um, at, at, at the end of the day, I call myself a witch because it's just easier and it's
Yes.
kind of an umbrella
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
Um, it was very funny. A friend of mine, we were talking about that, and I said, I think maybe I'm a Jewish ritual magician, and I said that's really too long. You're never going to find that on a bracelet. And she actually, a couple of Yules ago, she actually bought me a cuff bracelet where she had it engraved. So I
Awesome.
have I have a bracelet that says
See?
Jewish ritual magician.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, there you
Right
go.
on.
All good, all good. Yes,
Right
awesome.
on. And I know, we've had you on the show in the panel, so people may who've been following the show for a while may already be a bit, a bit familiar with your story and whatnot. But let's go back to the beginning, and I want to ask, what
the
brought you
the very
into the
beginning,
world? What brought you into the world of
Okay, not
because
not
the
back in the
witches, the
day.
occult
well,
methods?
because I the first time something I guess you could call it magical happened to me, I was 7. Um, so I don't know the world
Wow.
any way but this way. And I was the kind of kid where
Mhm.
like, I didn't necessarily notice things were going on, but everyone around me noticed that things were going on. And back in the
Mhm.
80s, a friend of mine said, "Oh, I met
Mhm.
this really
Mhm.
good tarot reader. Why don't you go see him?" And I did, and that's how I met RJ Stewart, and that's when I started really
Ah.
studying
Right.
and and figuring out what the hell was going on. Because I had done some other,
So
I
this was
guess I'm like
something that
everybody
really
else.
was.
Yes. My grandmother was, although she didn't call herself a witch, but she was a very Orthodox Jew. And she could, if we were going on vacation, we'd call her up and say, "Listen, Grandma, we need good weather. We're going to London for a week and a half and we need good weather." And she'd say, "I'll talk to him on Friday when I'm going to the sisterhood meeting." And I'll be like, "Okay." I mean, this was just part of what we believed, but no
Wow.
one ever saw it as magic. Everyone kind of saw it as grandma's a little odd.
Right.
It's
But she could. I mean, she was good at it. But it was a natural thing. So I think for certain ethnicities, it will go through the women. For
Mm,
yeah,
certain, I find like with my, not,
mm.
and I don't mean everybody, but I find with my friends who are Irish or Scottish, it seems to go through the men, hereditary, in a heredity kind of way.
Interesting.
But in my family, it's the girls. Uh, although I think it
Mhm.
skips a
Mhm.
generation because my mother and her sister are the least introspective people in the entire world.
mhm,
Um, it's a career.
Gotcha.
awesome,
Yes.
awesome. Okay, that's awesome. All right, so from your
Thank
point
you.
of view, not anyone else's, but your point of view, what
Mhm.
does it mean to be a witch?
Um, for me, it's about being aware of my surroundings, being aware of them visually, being
Mhm.
aware of them energetically, and just paying attention because I think people don't pay attention to like
Right.
really really small things. I remember being in a ritual down in Maryland with R.J. Stewart, and and a branch brushed my hand, and I looked at him and went, "Okay, this may be weird, but I think when I walked into the cairn, the tree could not see me, but when I left, it
Mm.
could." And he
Right.
went, "That's absolutely what that was." And I was like, "All right." So I think it's about really learning to interact and be aware of your surroundings.
Right.
And
Excellent
in
point.
in mundane ways too. I mean, I lived in Manhattan for a
How
very
do you mean?
I'm sorry? Um
I was saying, how do you mean
oh,
in mundane
I
ways?
I lived in Manhattan for most of my adult life, and I was walking and because I lived in Manhattan a long time, you're aware of everything around you
Yeah,
to be
you are.
safe, but you're not afraid because
Right.
it's your home. And I was walking back home from work. It was dark. I don't remember like what season it was, but it was dark. And I had a sense that someone was following me. And I turned
Hmm.
around and I didn't see anybody. And I kept walking. And then I saw someone behind me. But it's New York. There's always someone
Mhm.
walking behind you. And I went across the street to go to my apartment, and he crossed the street at the same time I did. And
Hmm.
I did a 360, and I went into the diner that was right there.
Mhm.
And I looked at the guy
Mhm.
and I said, "Listen, I really don't have any money on me, but I think someone's following me. So I just want to sit here for a minute." And he said, "No problem." He said, "I get off work in like 20 minutes. I'll walk you home." And he walked me home.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And that feeling, and I was telling someone about this, and they said, "That's really smart because if I had that feeling, I'd ignore it and think it was nothing."
No, you
But
Mm.
have
I,
to
but,
listen to
Yeah.
your
but,
intuition.
but I knew I had, and I'm not like paranoid. I don't walk around thinking like everyone's, following me. But I really had a sense that this guy was going to follow me into my apartment building.
Right.
And instead of
Yeah.
ignoring it, I went, "Yeah, I'm going to go sit here. I'm going to have some coffee."
Yes, listening is so important. Listening to the as Star was saying, that intuitive voice,
Yeah.
Yeah,
intuition, if you will, that intuitive voice, knowing something is going on. Yeah, that is important. Right on. So
yeah,
that kind of brings me to this next piece, because what you're speaking about is literally working with magic in your mundane or everyday life. So
yeah.
at this point, how is magic a part of your life? How do you
Uh,
incorporate that?
well, I have at any given time, right now, I have two altars in the house, but I have altars all over the house. I have
Mhm.
the regular one that I work at. I have a fairy altar because they like you to say hi. And I don't have an ancestor altar
Yes.
up right now, but I do. I have that sometimes as well. Um, One of the things I love is that my
Mhm.
cats, no matter how insane they are, They never jump on
Mhm.
the altars,
Well, there
ever,
you go.
Beautiful.
ever.
Respect. Respect.
It's really kind of because you think they would. I don't keep an
Right.
altar clock on it just in case because they could go insane. Uh,
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So that's actually a great segue into another part. So tell us a little bit about what's important to you.
oh gosh. In terms of magic, in terms of
Whether it's magical or mundane, what's
um
important to you in your lifestyle?
what's important to me? Baking. I have been called a kitchen witch.
Yes. You
I
are
have
the
I have a
baker.
I have a
Yep.
reputation for and when I realized I was a kitchen witch, I didn't realize it right away. I just like to bake. And then
Mhm.
I brought some cookies to a Beltane celebration, and my host held the package in his hand, someone I know who's very psychic, held them in his hands and went, "I'll just bring these into the kitchen." And my feelings were kind of hurt by the end of the party. He had never brought them out. And he called me up the next morning and said,
That's
"Okay,
really
I ate all the cookies." And I went, "Okay, sweetheart,
Oh,
you
my
you ate
goodness.
you just ate 3 sticks of butter, so go to the emergency room." He said, "I had a couple I had a couple of them, and they kept calling to me."
right.
And so I put them in the freezer to kind of make them inert, and that didn't work. So he just took them up and sat up all night
Mhm.
and ate these cookies, shortbread cookies, which meant that's a lot of butter.
Oh my
And
god.
then
Yes.
a couple of months later, I made some cookies for a friend of mine for her birthday. And she came, we were working together at the time, and she came into work and said, "Oh my God, I was up all night." And I went, "Oh my
Mhm.
God, was the butter bad? Did something happen?" And she said, "No, the cookies were calling to me." And I
Yeah.
went, "Oh my God." I don't know what to do about this. And she
See?
she she lived in a duplex, and she was keeping them in the kitchen, and finally she just brought the whole tin upstairs.
Oh
She
wow.
just brought all the cookies like in bed. Her husband's asleep and she's sitting there eating
Figuring
cookies.
out on that. Yeah.
So I
So
I find,
So
I find that I do things backwards in terms of how other people do things.
mm,
Um, I don't know why that is, and
and
I used to kind of rail against it, and then I finally went, "Yeah, whatever." That's just this is just the way it is. Just kind of
yeah, so
just kind of go with it.
yeah.
so I know you're baking. I have sampled your baking. I have your and you've also I also have your cookbook on that. So I know baking really is a part of who you are. It's and how people also know you and how people also know your affection for them because you do put a lot of love into your baking
It's such a
and
wonderful way to show
magic
people
as
how you
well.
feel. Here, I made you cookies.
Yeah, it is. It really is. But that takes me to our next question, which was, okay, so that is a thing that you share with others. Let's take it to a larger level and talk about community. Tell me about what's important to you and community right now. What work are you doing with community? And I know you have this event coming up at the end of the month, but tell me about your work, your magical work and community
Yeah.
right
Oh
now.
God, I'm so excited for this event because between the pandemic and the hip replacement I had, I have not been involved in community very much because I couldn't get around.
Right.
And before
Mhm.
that, I was
Yeah.
taking care of my mother. So I've been I've been sort of I don't want to say isolated. That's sort of overstating, but in terms of going to events, in terms of teaching and doing workshops and stuff, I have been kind of isolated. So I feel like this event coming up is like the start of like a new chapter. It's like I'm getting out there again.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Because honestly, I
Yeah,
don't I don't
absolutely.
think you understand what you know until you start teaching it to other people.
Right. This is true.
Like
This
Yes.
is
someone asks
triggering.
you a question and you go, "Okay," and you start talking about it and you go, "Oh, I didn't know."
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Um,
Very true.
Yeah,
okay.
it's why I like to do classes with Q&As. For Rhonda's tarot group,
Right.
I've done a couple of classes that are just Q&As.
Okay.
I'm
That's
going to sit
awesome.
here and you
Yes.
tell me, you
Yes.
ask me a question
And you'll answer
and I'll
as
answer it.
best you can. Yeah.
And
Awesome.
and and the thing that's great about it is that some of the stuff you know the answer to, and some of the stuff you're like, wow,
Just
look at
discovering,
this
just
thing.
discovering.
Yeah.
Well, it leads me to my soapbox issue, which is people who read a book and teach a class, right? If you read a book and
Mhm.
teach a class, yeah,
Yes.
sure, you can regurgitate what someone else has said, but you can't answer any questions because you really don't know anything yet.
Yeah.
Right? If you take one of my tarot
Yeah.
classes and
You
you ask
don't
me
really
a
know the
question and
material.
I say, don't ever do that, I will then tell you the stupid thing I did and why I know it should go another way.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Mhm.
But yeah, I complain about that quite a lot.
Okay.
It's
So,
fair. That's fair.
yeah, right. So, what would you like to see us as witches accomplish?
I would I'm writing a book on occult initiation, and I have interviewed like a zillion people, like
Hmm.
everyone we all know, because we all like to talk about this
Yeah.
stuff. It's,
Mhm.
um, and
Yes.
I would love for one, if I ever finish it, I would like if one person looked at it and felt like they understood paganism or alternative spirituality in a different way.
Right.
And maybe we're not so afraid for no
Mhm.
reason. Um, then I would have really feel like I've
Mhm.
accomplished something. I really think it's
Fabulous.
I don't walk around as you can see, I don't have, big pentacles on or anything. If if you saw me walking down the street, I'm just a regular girl, and then I open my mouth and then, people go,
Everything comes
"Oh,
out.
okay." But if and sometimes
Mhm.
I wear that stuff. I have robes, I have, whatever. It's why I started working with Dolores. I went to RJ and I said, "Okay, I want to do the whole robe and dagger thing. I want to dress up." And he's like, "Well, I've worked past that." And I was like, "Yeah, but I haven't." So, and I'm so
Yeah.
glad I started the fairy work
Yeah.
before the hermetic work because I know I don't need it. I know I don't need the robes and stuff.
Right.
But if I want to, I can.
Yeah.
Um, but I
Right.
would like to promote
Right. And
understanding.
there's
I would
there's
really
something.
like people
Okay.
to
Yeah. That
um
that's something that's hard, actually, harder than people realize. But
you
yeah.
know something? I graduated from an interfaith seminary in Manhattan. And one of the things I really fought against
Right.
was that they were not dealing with paganism at all. It was every kind of
Mm.
Christianity ever in the history of the world. I mean, honestly, by the time we got to New Thought, I thought I wanted to kill myself. Um, and
It will drive you to do that
Jesus.
sometimes.
well, but and then they did one afternoon session on the Wheel of the Year and Native American.
Right.
And I'd be like, okay, wait.
Wow.
They really just glossed over it.
That's it.
So when I had to do my wedding practicum, I did a hand fasting. And it was the first hand fasting they had ever
Yes.
had there. And
Beautiful.
the guy who was supervising me was a very serious Christian,
Right.
and a lovely man. I don't mean anything negative by that, but
Right.
still a very serious Christian. And afterwards he just walked up to me and looked at me and went, you know I'm going to have to rethink a few things. And I said, well, my job is done. Because I don't
Awesome.
know what he thought I was going to do,
That is awesome. Opened up a few
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
minds.
thought, well,
Yeah.
that's like the best thing you could have ever said to me. That was just great because he
Right.
had never seen it.
That's awesome.
He had never experienced that kind of, and it's not that different than any other kind of ceremony except there's more
Mhm.
participation. Like
Right.
everyone participates
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
as opposed to just
And that's
you know
and
It's
that
not
is
it's
as
not
it should
theater.
be.
You have to
yes
participate. It's
Right.
as simple as that. It's not up for discussion.
Right.
Yeah.
I had
Okay.
I had two friends of mine come in.
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I had two friends of mine come in and do a
I
rededication of their vows. So
Nice.
they were my stunt couple.
oh, in the for the
Yeah.
practicum. Oh, that's awesome. That's
It
Yeah.
was
awesome.
very fun.
A lot of great
So,
things happen
okay,
with
so
that.
we um I know you've mentioned when we were speaking about community, you mentioned or because I was asking also about the event coming up at the
Mhm.
end of the month that you'll be teaching at Sacred Space. But what other projects do you have coming up, or are you thinking about? Where what other things should we be looking out for from Debbie Chapnick?
I've been doing like a lot of writing. I'm working on two things at the same time because why would you not?
Gotcha.
Right.
Why not?
Well, it's
Right.
interesting. At the beginning of the pandemic, Judica from Wisers contacted me and said, "Okay, we're re-releasing this book, and we need to know what Dolores is calling herself now. Now that she's not director of studies
Mhm.
anymore, she retired." And we were talking, and I said, "Okay, while I've got you on the phone, my my freelance work has dried up. Do you have any
Anything, yeah.
form? I'm a graphic designer. Do you have any formatting over there?" And
Mhm.
I loved it because she said to me, I love my people. She just said to me, "Well, why don't you write a book?" And I went, I've been kicking around some stuff."
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
said,
Finally, you worked it
and
out and went with
and
it.
I said, I'm working on this thing now, which is actually I'm teaching a class on it when I actually scheduled the class so that I could finish the book. It was like my way of going, stop being an idiot and just finish this. I'm looking at the tarot, the Rider
Yes,
Waite tarot specifically through the backgrounds of the cards, as opposed to the foregrounds of the
that is
cards.
fab. And
Um,
as a graphic designer, that's such a
well, and
yeah, that's
Pixie and
just a
I did
great
go to
way
the
of
same
looking at it.
college. Well,
That's true.
I started noticing that there are repetitive patterns in the cards.
Right.
Right? There's the little there's the town, and then there's like the country village. But even more than that, I should have actually, I haven't gone through my cards, to show you this. It'll take too long. Um, if you put the Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands together, the backgrounds match up. I mean, they
Right.
actually match up.
That's excellent.
And it changes the meanings of the cards
That is fabulous.
because the Knight of Wands is not, the horse is not rearing up for no reason. It's rearing up to not hit
Right.
the Page of Wands.
Right.
Or the Page of Wands has stopped him and he's trying to get out of his way. So now you can look at the cards and go, okay, that doesn't necessarily mean what I thought it meant.
Oh,
And so you can look at things and
yes.
start to see the different
Yes.
relationships of where the cards are on this landscape.
Yeah.
So the map is like 85% done. So I've made a big map.
This
Okay.
is going to be a
That's awesome.
fabulous project. That and
Right.
I'm
Right.
very
Sounds
excited about it.
great.
project. Can't wait till you
Yeah.
see that book when it's
Okay.
out. I'll
Yes. Okay. So, what are some of the events that you have coming up this year?
Right now I have Sacred Space, and I can't think of anything past that at this point. Um, I think, I was talking to a friend of mine and I said, I feel like I haven't been out in the world for a really long time. So I don't
Mhm.
want to schedule too
Yeah.
much because I'm still walking with a cane a little bit. So I'm just trying to sort of,
Yeah.
I get through one thing and then I go, okay, that worked. And then I go do the next thing.
Yes.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so I
That is
really don't have anything
fabulous.
scheduled past that.
Okay. All right. And things may change.
I
You know,
You
I'd
never
love to
know.
see you
right.
at Witches Fest if you can. That would be so
Oh, I
nice
would
to
love to
see you
do
there.
that. And
Yeah.
so many places now are doing virtual things too.
Yes.
We
You know, now that I'm not totally focused on
yes,
keeping
there
my
are a
body
ton.
vertical, I can actually look around at all the
Yes.
schedules and go, let me contact this place. I'd love to do the UK tarot conference because I really want to get over there really, really bad. I miss I miss my people. Um, There's
Yes.
all kinds of stuff, and I keep, there's bats, there's the Bay Area tarot, like there's all kinds of things that I've been looking at, and I have like I have little calendars of when everything is. So now that I'm sort of working on all four burners, as they say, I can start looking around and really start getting out there and doing stuff again.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's something a lot of people are trying to step back out there. It takes time because things are not completely gone because of human beings being who they are, kind of a thing. So
And also, a lot of us took um, a financial hit during the pandemic.
yeah, yeah. Some
So
people, yeah, that they do that. Yeah.
I mean, I can't wait to. I haven't gone out and sold books and stuff. Like, I'm very excited to go, not only go there, but to go there, and I've got a couple of Dolores's tarot decks. I've got my cookbook and my tarot tip sheet. So it's just nice to get out there and do stuff. Although I'll have to sign stuff, and that always freaks me out a little bit. The first time
I'm
somebody asked me
sorry.
to
I know
sign.
I
Oh, are you there?
I I was
Yes.
I was
Is that
Okay.
better?
frozen for a minute, and I'm
Yes.
finally
Okay.
back, so hopefully I don't get
Okay.
frozen
Awesome.
again.
The first time
But
somebody
I
asked
wanted to.
me.
Mm,
Oh, she's
I'm sorry.
gone.
Go ahead,
That's
Debbie.
okay. The first time somebody asked me to sign like a tarot tip sheet, in my head, all at once, I went, "Why do you want? It's just me. Why do you want to do it?" And then my in my brain, I went, "Okay, when you walked up to Raymond Buckland the at INETS, the International New Age Trade Show, how upset would you have been if he would have gone like, "Oh, why do you want my signature?" So suck it up and be
And
gracious
let do
and
it. Yeah.
just sign. It's like I had to get used to signing stuff, and I had to get used to standing next to people and smiling and
Yes.
getting
Yes.
my picture
And
taken.
and
Um,
just because I didn't show it before, I do wanna show it. Debbie designed this, and it even has spread on the back, but it's really cute, and I actually use this with my students so
Awesome.
that you can see what it looks like. It's a fabulous
Yeah.
I
product.
I
Um,
have I have
I
such
know we've
affection
kinda
for
gone
that
over,
thing.
but I wanted to just. It is a beautiful piece. It really is. It's functional, it looks good. Um, we have not been scrolling anything, but where can people find you? What's the best place for people to where do people locate you? I know you as you are the owner of Datura Press. There's also that, but what's the best place for people to find you
Um,
for questions and classes and
I
updates and
I
whatnot?
I'm on I'm on Facebook as Datura Press and as me. I'm on Instagram as Datura Press and Debbie the Baker.
Mm.
Um, I'm on Threads, but I never
Yes.
go there, and I don't know why I bother.
We
You
have
know,
to do
you
a lot of things we don't really necessarily like.
well, it's so funny because
Right.
I really enjoy social media, but every time a new platform comes out, I'm like, I was never
Uh-huh.
on Twitter. I never understood the whole Twitter thing. And then
Twitter, to me, I find Twitter kind of confusing, but such is life. Well,
and then
actually, it's no longer Twitter, it's
it's
Yeah,
X.
X.
Oh,
right.
I think
Which
we all
X,
have, oh,
right.
everybody's saying X, and there's a
Yeah.
question marks of many kinds behind
I mean,
the word,
people
the
still
letter
people
X.
still call it Twitter,
I know,
because
I know.
that's
I'm
just
like,
what it
Yes.
was.
Yes.
yeah, you can't make it. The brand was so well done that you can't take that away no matter what you want to do. So
It's
it is what it
something.
is.
Right.
It's more
Right.
about the brand. It's about the egregore, and I know a lot of people don't really pay attention to that, but it's the
Mhm.
energy behind the brand,
Mhm.
Right.
right? I'm a member of a Facebook page.
Yes.
I'm a member of a Facebook page that used to be the New York Times cooking community, right? There's like 10,000 people on this
Oh,
page,
right.
and it's really
Mhm.
really fun because they're my other tribe.
Right. Right. Awesome.
It's like I can't get my bunt out of the pan, and you get 400 responses about how to do that. At some point, the New York Times went, "We cannot manage this thing," and so now it's called not the New York Times Cooking Community, and I I left it for a while because the egregore shifted, and it took a while for it to get back. Like it actually, I mean,
Mm.
in my opinion, it changed the page.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I don't wanna deal with these people anymore." And then finally I went, "I miss this." I mean, it took like a year, and I went,
Wow.
I'm gonna go on there and see what's going on." And it's the same now. but it's the energy
Wow.
that people put into, these logos and these logos and stuff don't just have power on their own.
Right,
It's
right.
it's
So you,
like it's
you
like
brand it.
you go to New Mexico and there's a rock that looks like it has a face on it, and people go, "Oh, look, there's a face on that rock." And the next thing you know, they bring their friends. And then all of a sudden, people are worshiping the rock, right?
True,
Yep.
true,
Because
true.
they imbued all this energy into the rock. And you know something I love, I'm not saying that
Yeah.
all of a sudden
Yeah.
there's a God in the rock. I'm just saying that people need focus. And if that helps them get
Yeah.
to their inner
It's
self,
interesting that
then go ahead, sit by
right
the rock.
on. No, that is interesting that no, that is interesting about the relationship with X and the New York Times cooking page because I remember the stories about that. But listen, thank
All
you
right.
so much for coming to be with us for a
Thank
Yes, yes.
you.
solo
Thank
show.
you.
Really appreciate that.
It's kind of
And of
lonesome.
course, when we have, because we will panels this year, but there'll be more
Yeah.
panels. Don't worry about that. But thank you
Yes,
That's
yes,
so
yes.
much
okay. It was
again,
lovely
Debbie, for
talking to
making
you.
the
Yeah,
Have a great
time.
night.
yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it so much.
Bye.
Thank you. And
Thanks.
now, a little word from our sponsors.
All right. And great to have astrology time tonight. Tonight is the last three signs, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, being talk to you about with your horoscope for this year. And again, what we've
Yes.
said for this segment that we've been doing of astrology is that it is all of the 2024 horoscope and how Aquarius season will be affect each zodiac sign. Okay. So here's what you can expect according to most of it is based on your sun or rising sun. And as we said, that 2024 holds much promise for many opportunities that will arrive through many of you and what you do to let go of the past and be willing to embrace something new. It will be a powerful year for so many reasons. So don't underestimate the power that you yourself hold.
Mhm.
So I want you to really look at the imagery and the symbolism associated with the major and minor arcana brought to your attention for each sign, as it will hold many important things that you may not be aware of. And remember that when we speak of your yearly horoscope, keep in mind of what decan you are in, whether it's one, two, or three.
Yeah.
And we've done previous videos on it, so you should be able to go back and look at that. And that way you will know where you fit, so you can check out our past videos for that. All right. So, Rhonda, let's
Yes.
begin.
Let's get started. Tonight, we start off with Capricorn. Capricorn is the Seven of Wands. So 2024 for all you caps. Seven of Wands. Really awesome. So this is a really interesting energy. Let's go ahead and start talking about it. Capricorn, your 2024 horoscope predicts a year of hard work and so much to gain. Keep your eye on the ball. You know that old saying, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Well, Capricorn, you've worked hard to attain the level of success that you've acquired, but it's much harder to maintain power. And you can see that with this figure here. And in 2024, you may find that opponents are challenging your status and haters are attempting to bring you down. When you look at the what Pamela Coleman Smith's image, which was, Pixie, attended the same school that Debbie Chapnick attended. But let's
Right.
just go through this. These sticks here at the bottom that are poking up, they're actually supposed to be people on the other side. And those are the people who are poking at you. So, yes, as we say in 2024, you may find that opponents are challenging your status and haters are attempting to poke you off, push you out the way. And as you can see in Star's image also of the Seven of Wands in that deck, you can see people are poking their sticks at you. It's pretty look. The Seven of Wands indicates that this year you may find yourself going to
Mm.
bat with people who aim to topple your horse. But if you maintain your convictions, continue to work hard, and maintain a humble attitude, there's nothing anyone can do to hurt you. You began 2024 hitting the ground running, which is a good omen for all that you can accomplish this year. When passionate Mars entered back on January 4th, you were dealt more stamina and motivation to go after exactly what you want. So keep your eye on not just on the ball, but on the actual prize. Not just on the ball, but on the actual goal. What is the prize? Over the course of 2023, you may have noticed significant changes beginning to unravel in your financial status, thanks to Pluto's quick tour through Aquarius. However, Pluto will re-enter Aquarius did re-enter this past January 20th, and it will run through all the way to September 1st. And again, it will be back on November 19th, where it will continue inspiring you to acquire the income you deserve in your second house of money and material possessions all the way until 2043. Good stuff. And while you may at first struggle to decide how much is too much and how little is too little, this transit is preparing you for a level of wealth that will bring you immense power. But now you will need to refine your spending and earning habits so that it will lead to bigger paydays later on. Because of all the hard work you do, it's easy to forget to reserve love and attention for your own personal time. However, once the North Node of Destiny joins forces with Chiron, the wounded healer, on February 19th, so this just happened last month,
Right.
it will encourage you to nourish your fourth house of home and family so that your roots are strong enough for how tall you're going to grow. This alignment could bring you and your family back together, especially if you've been on the outs. It could also give you the strength to do what you need to do in order to truly build the home of your dreams. A lunar eclipse in Libra will blast through your 10th house of career on March 25th, so coming up, making some internal adjustments that can pave the way for success in the outer realms, bringing you professional opportunities that bring incredibly serendipitous. Ripples of change will continue to unfold as a total solar eclipse in Aries lands in your sacred fourth house on April 8th, so coming up soon, forcing you to make your comfort, security, and sense of belonging a top priority. A
Yeah.
beautiful new beginning starts to blossom come spring as Jupiter forms a conjunction with Uranus in your fifth house of creativity, love, and self expression on April 20th. You may be caught off guard by maybe another person or an artistic idea that has the power to catapult you into a future beyond your wildest dreams. Let go of your need for control and simply allow yourself to be swept up in whatever love affair this turns out to be. As Jupiter enters Gemini on May 25th, it will spend the rest of the year ramping things up in your sixth house of work, health, and service. This will increase your desire to be productive and intentional in every action you take, allowing you to refine your fitness regimens, nurture your self care routines, and strengthen your work ethic. You may need to speak your mind in a way that changes everything by the time fall begins. A lunar eclipse in Pisces will help you get rid of blocking your third house of communication and informative exchanges on September 17th. This could encourage you to obtain the facts and truth that have been withheld from you, further inspiring you to speak on topics that are important to you. As it turns to your 10th house of public image on October 2nd, you may find yourself embarking down a highly meaningful professional path. Stall your engines. Pay attention. But there's nothing wrong with slowing down. Mars stations retrograde in your 8th house of intimacy and investments on December 6th. Your need for control over every situation. You may find that the harder you try to influence or possess some of yourself, you feel. Simply allow this retrograde to show you what happens, Capricorn. Keep your eyes on the ball and on the prize. So much is out there for you in 2024. Awesome.
All
So
right.
now, star
Yeah.
Aquarius.
I'm
Woo-wee.
gonna need, girl, I'm gonna need you to show your King of Wands. I have been searching this entire time over and over and still can't find my King of Wands from the deck. I have no
Oh, no
idea.
worries.
But anyways, I know, right? So Aquarius,
Here he is. Yeah.
Aquarius, you are King of Wands. That's your card right now. And Aquarius 2024 horoscope says you're no longer apologizing for who you are. Yeah. Okay. So let the world know
Right
where you
on.
stand. This year, you're going to step into the role as a leader in your creative or your professional field. You're slowly but
Mm.
surely becoming a master of your craft, and in 2024, you're going to terms with your visions for a much better future. So the King of Swords, why does it say King of Swords? Yeah, I wonder if it was King of Swords. No, it's supposed to be King of
Eh,
Wands. The King of Wands
yeah.
indicates that you're becoming highly intelligent and well informed in whatever your chosen passion may be. Now, students are gathering at your feet, okay, eager to pick your brain and savor each and every morsel of information you have to share. Why does that sound so zombie like?
Right, it does.
Brain,
When
fresh
you
brain.
say pick your brains, jeez, no.
Right, right. As I'm reading it, I'm going, wait a minute.
Right.
Okay. As you share the wealth of your knowledge with those who appreciate it, you're actually manifesting your dream come true. You're a voice for your generation, and your Aquarius 2024 horoscope is proof that you're beginning to step into that role that you were born to play. While this year is just the start of a long and beautiful journey, it's also revealing the themes that will carry you into the most meaningful eras of your life. As you journey throughout 2023, you probably started that process of making major studies or making major strides towards your own self actualization and independence, thanks to Pluto's temporary foray into Aquarius. And now that Pluto is re entering Aquarius, which it did beginning January 30th, it will sort of and go all the way to September 1st and again on November 19th. You're settling
Mm,
into this new chapter even more deeply. See how it's all kind of playing out? So Pluto will
mhm,
spend the next 20 years reconstructing your brand, your identity, and your
mm,
sense of self worth, and inspiring you to prioritize your own personal power above all things. However, you may need to allow certain things to die before something better can be
mm,
reborn. After all, Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. So rise from the ashes like that phoenix that you are. In the past, you may have felt like you couldn't be fully um, be honest about your thoughts and feelings because 2024 is going to actually change all that for you. Once the node of destiny joins forces with Chiron, the wounded healer, on February 19th, it will activate your voice like never seen before, encouraging you to speak into your third house. Sorry, encouraging you to speak truth into your third house of communication and close friends. When the lunar eclipse in Libra blasts off in your ninth house of expansion and philosophy on February 19th, you will be, sorry, throat is dry, you will
Mhm.
be able to feel the wind beneath your wings as you embrace a more open, understanding, and enlightened perspective of reality. It will help you remove the muzzle you unconsciously placed over your mouth, bringing more and more game changing conversations. Okay? Especially around the total lunar eclipse in Aries, when it rises in your communication sector, this is going to be happening on April 8th. So prepare for some changes in your relationship dynamics, especially with siblings and close friends. Okay? It will unfold in its own way. In order for you to feel strong enough to take on the world, you would need to have a sacred space to return to at the end of a long day. So you need to create that for yourself. As Jupiter forms a conjunction with Uranus in your fourth house of home and family on April 20th, you may find the inspiration to create the household you've always dreamed of having. You may notice many serendipitous changes unfolding in your personal life during this time, and all of them will be exciting, enlivening, and encouraging. Okay. However, as Jupiter enters Gemini on May 25th, it will spread the seeds of love across your fifth house of creativity and romance, inspiring you to express yourself to the fullest for the remainder of 2024. You may also notice changes in your financial status as it begins to unfold by the fall, which is when a lunar eclipse in Pisces will take things up in your second house of money and self esteem on September 17th. You may be
Mhm.
taking stock of your bank account, your personal possessions, and all the items that you place value on. This could lead to a healthy raise if you've been, I don't know, playing your cards right. And by the time the solar eclipse in Libra arrives on November 25th, you may find yourself embarking on a new adventure in your ninth house of wisdom and open-ended expansion. So by the end of the year, you'll probably be traveling to new places, okay, um, and drawn into, I don't know, experiences, all while compounding or expanding your horizon, okay? However, around this time, there may be a rise in conflicts in your one on one relationship. So keep an eye on that. Some of them may even be long standing that you had to take care of that's been pestering its way there in like a scab, staying there, right? And you're picking at it. As Mars in Leo stations retrograde in your seventh house of partnerships, as revealing as revealed on December 6th, it will take over the roads in your most intense unions, revealing where anger could be used and communicated more effectively. Suggestion: don't let your ego get the best of you. All right.
That's always a great recommendation for anybody, right?
Yeah.
Mind your ego. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So our last sign, Pisces,
Pisces.
7 of Swords. I'm going to say it now. I think this is one of the most misunderstood cards in the deck, but that's just my opinion. But anyway, let's go forward. Pisces, your 2024 horoscope says you're healing your relationship with money and learning how to make more. Okay. In 2024, you should be careful who you trust and what you try to get away with. Instead of lying to get your way or putting your faith in get rich quick schemes, you should roll up your sleeves and do the hard work yourself whenever you can. All right. The Seven of Swords is warning you against trying to take the easy way out instead of doing something in a way that is tried and true. It is also warning you against people who seem to have your best interests at heart, but are actually keeping secrets from you. Have faith in yourself because you don't need shortcuts to get where you want to be. If you've been struggling to feel worthy of or proud, then you have every reason to look forward to your Pisces 2024 horoscope. Not only are you rebuilding your self esteem this year, but you're also learning that you're not only more than enough, but you're all big message. All right. You've been diving deep into your own psyche throughout 2020, but you've barely even scratched the surface of what your intuition is capable of knowing. Now that Pluto has re entered Aquarius from this past January 20th, all the way through September 1st, and then again on November 19th, you're becoming fully entrenched in a process of reflection, introspection, meditation, forgiveness, and psychic activation. For the next 20 years, the Pluto in Aquarius transit will activate and transform your 12th house of spirituality and subliminal energies, paving the way for you to become more powerful than ever before. Your sense of inner knowing is bound to get stronger and stronger as time goes on. But in 2024, you may have eye opening epiphanies that let you know you're on the right track. If you've been struggling to get your finances in order, the tides will turn in your favor. On February 19th, this past 19th, February 19th, the North Node of Destiny joined forces with healing Chiron in your second house of money and house of money and self-esteem, excuse me, which which has the possibility of sending a life-saving deposit straight on your bank account to your bank account or brought you funds you needed if you've been living check to check. However, it could also have been a help it could also help you appreciate what you've always had, if it if it had never been felt if especially if you'd never felt like that before. Like there wasn't enough before. When a lunar eclipse lands in your eighth house of investments and energetic exchanges this coming March 25th, so in a couple of weeks, a couple of days, a transformation could unfold, especially when it comes to your emotional and financial unions. Is it time? Is it time for your sacrifices to finally pay off? A total solar eclipse in Aries on April 8th is soon to follow, laying down the groundwork for a new beginning in your money sector. If you have the power to pioneer a world altering idea this year, so don't discount your intelligence. As Jupiter forms a conjunction with Uranus in your third house of communication on April 20th, you're tapping into a wealth of knowledge and information that will allow you to accomplish something truly game changing. Perhaps to become a scholar within your own field, or to simply realize that you're so much more intelligent than you ever knew you were. Jupiter later slides into Gemini on May 25th, where it will remain for the rest of the year. And you'll discover a whole new meaning of the word home. Yeah. As Jupiter sends luck and nurturing into your fourth house of home and family, your roots will grow stronger and your heart will grow even bigger as you reconnect with close kin and design the sacred space you've always needed. An earth shattering change could arrive during fall when a lunar eclipse in Pisces shakes things up in your first house of the self on September 17th. You may suddenly feel the need to prioritize your own independence and sense of self above all things. This could lead to shifts in your relationships, especially if you've been compromising your own needs for the sake of keeping the peace. Make no mistake, You're in charge of your own world.
Mm.
Yep. By the time the solar eclipse in Libra kicks into gear on November 25th, you may find yourself placing your trust in something or someone. This will take place in your eighth house of intimacy and shared resources. This eclipse will further inspire you to put your money or your heart into something that has potential for long term growth. However, your productivity could experience a few speed bumps as the year comes to an end. This will occur when Mars stations retrograde in your sixth house of work, health, and service as of December 6th. You may struggle to keep up with your routine and take care of yourself the way you deserve. Remember, you are not a machine and you are not made to work with the click of a button. Let the end of 2024 come with a good amount of rest because you'll need to recharge. Great things are ahead, but there's lots of work.
There
All
you go.
right. Well,
So that's
now we
the
need to
end of
look at those
the
cards.
last of the signs.
Yes. And now let's look at some tarot cards.
Alrighty. So what I want you guys to do, again, like we've been telling each of the three signs each time, you will pull one tarot card, and that one, I'm sorry, that tarot card that you pull is the one that represents you. Whether it was the Seven of Wands, is this, what is it, the Seven of Swords, or the King of Wands. Okay, that's you. That's the one card that's there that represents it. Um, uh, uh, you right now. Okay, and then we're gonna pull one card after you shuffle. Pull one card represents 2023 and what you're leaving behind, and that
Hmm.
card represents again, and you'll put that on the left. Have the one that's your card, whether it's again, whether it's the King of Swords, the Seven of Swords, or the Seven of Wands. Okay, so the one
Hmm.
that you just pulled on the side on the left, then your main card, and then you will pull another card, and that will be the card that represents 2024 and how it will be affecting you and playing out. Okay, um, so
Fabulous.
that's it. So I want you guys to do that, see what it does for you, and what, and come with it from there. So we want
Yes.
to thank you all for being with us tonight.
Yes.
Debbie, Chapnick, anyone in the chat, or anything else like that, please, we want to thank you all so much for joining us each Friday. And really quickly, little backstory, we took a sick day because I had just gotten home from total knee replacement on my left knee. So lots of
Mm.
pain there. So we had to kind of take a chill pill, and it was
Yeah.
a lot
This
of
was
pain.
some
So
arm twisted. I'm gonna
I
acknowledge
know, I
because,
know, I know. I had to not do it. I wasn't able to do it.
yeah,
So,
it was not a
um,
reasonable thing. So
yeah.
glad you took some
So
time. Here's to
yes,
continued health. Here's to
yes,
continued
yes, yes.
recovery and health.
Right. So
Yes.
we
So
will see you
yeah,
guys next week, Friday
huge
at
thank
10
you to
p.m.
Debbie. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So Rhonda, what should we do?
Like, subscribe, and share. Thank
Yes,
you
on
guys
YouTube.
so
Thank you
much.
guys. See you next week.
See you next week.